Hello, I hope all is progressing well. Welcome to I Don't Know, We Can Talk About It, where we discuss myriads of topics, civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. Our first topic concerns identifying English language learners, as well as individuals with different needs that may need assistance. How might an educational entity, an educational environment better cater to any in need of assistance, particularly with English learning, as well as if an individual has a different need? Well, when identifying, I think a process beyond any initial form filling may be quite necessary. Any initial processes may be helpful in identifying a clear, specific set, though long term, one may discover an individual has different needs and may find a resource beneficial to any experiencing similarly. I feel as though attending to what might be clearly apparent, especially if data is available for any individual with a different need, a particular need, might help an educational entity better prepare resource-wise to ensure an individual will be able to fulfill any need. I feel as though even where a resource like an English learner's teacher, a specialist, may be challenging to have for a full-time schedule, considering what variables might be able to be set in an educational environment may be useful, even if to have an individual discuss a resource with a particular need, especially if more than one individual with a particular need. Being able to effectively prescribe resources may prove valuable for any with a particular need, especially in connection with English learning. Now, for any with a particular learning need, any parameter that is apparent for individuals at large experiencing a similar need, resource-wise, may be set in an educational environment to assist any that may need to use a particular resource. Of course, a specialist may have different training to align with any individual with a particular need that may be extremely valuable beyond a resource alone, that a particular need needs, so as to ensure an individual is receiving fulfillment in life through whatever process a specialist may be helping with. I feel as though attempting to even make little steps in as much of a capacity as one may within an awareness of a particular need may prove extremely valuable for an educational environment attempting to understand how to assist any with a particular need to succeed, not only within the particular educational environment, though beyond. I feel as though watching progress is going to reveal what type of need anyone may have. Additionally, if a need may become apparent at a different time of an educational year. In one's learning experience, one may have a challenging moment for a time, resolve the challenging moment, then flourish elsewhere, whereas the reverse may happen for another individual, which may bring about a different conversation, whether a particular need is too much of a part of a diagnosis with one's health in comparison to whether one is growing through a learning curve. Our next topic is about how educational atmospheres in relation to governmental progressions are responding to navigating the progressing world in relation to Title IX. I feel as though Title IX is such a new experience, even decades after the initial pointing of what Title IX is about. That being in a progressing landscape of education, as the educational environment is and will always be progressing through changes, many entities are attempting to grasp how an educational environment functionally attunes students towards success while not impeding on anyone's rights. Being accepting in an environment may be quite different at large, though particularly in aspects of an environment, individuals may feel an encroaching personally of civil rights, of human rights, when a conflict of understanding happens to be at the table of where everyone meets for whatever particular reason. I find myself quite understanding of different realities of acceptance. And I think to myself initially of what Title IX is, then how the transition might be at large, even considering that instances may not be fully blowing, fully growing to a capacity that no one understands. I'm considering the perspectives of the transitions from what Title IX originally is to what Title IX is progressing through. I think to myself of how a mind can change. How, if one is in a particular situation, one's mind may be so, whereas one may be in another situation and one's mind may vary, may change. As science proves, the brain is constantly developing, maturing, especially as one ages. When a person is reaching 30, within that range, a mind is going to be quite different. A brain is constantly progressing. Being so flexible between the mind and the brain, the mind leading, capable of leading, I find protecting every entity may prove beneficial for an educational atmosphere. If any may identify particularly, then I feel as though everyone may respect what one chooses to identify as. Considering how spaces work, individuals are able to observe physical spaces. Being in person, being physical, is quite different than being in a space mentally with any other individual. I feel as though a respect to what one may be identifying with mentally, how one may be identifying emotionally, is quite important. I respect your rights, I respect who you choose to be, and I respect myself as well. And I have my belief, and I'm hoping you may be able to respect my beliefs. A clear dialogue, which becomes a part of the larger conversation of, if I'm accepting an individual and an individual is not accepting me, then a two-way street seemingly seems one way. The grounding for Title IX changing is quite different, which makes me feel as though, especially with policies and entities in relation to conversations about gender identity and sex, Title IX, progressing through routes of change differently long-term to address particulars, is already bringing in an awareness that particularities need different attention, inclusive of space. Not just the mental space or the emotional space, though of the physical spaces. This is very inclusive. This being creating an atmosphere where an individual may have an opportunity to be fully expressive where everyone feels as everyone's rights are receiving respect, and where individuals may find or civil progressions to understanding what may be inclusively of a new space physically. What does a new structure mean, and how may inclusivity be more respectful of human rights, of civil rights, of individuals? I find such a conversation so important because realistically, I'm a biological male. I don't have laws particularly to respect that align with my sex. Whereas I find a lot politically seems to quickly bundle with what any individual born as a biological woman is having to grow through. When I'm assessing a situation, I like to be understanding of how, if I'm in a position where policies and laws include me and affect me in a way that brings individuals to encroach on my space physically, which may have a lot of other underlying effects for others having to go through these situations. How might that make me feel, especially when a lot of progressions coming for any individual like me, especially in respect to physical spaces, is very, very new. Which makes me feel as though there are a lot of boundaries that operate with women, proving how empowering women are to our society at large. Of course, through a woman, life may be, biologically. So I'm finding a respect for the progressing world, especially considering as young policies are ever-going changes and introductions are coming to the forefront of conversations, especially with progression generations beyond, because decades from now, life will be very different. So, I really find being able to respect, considering all forms of spatial development, considering physical spaces, mental spaces, emotional spaces, I feel as though everyone deserves respect, and to receive equal respect, equal measures are necessary. All right. As you may know, I don't know, we can talk about it, works in tandem with Piaget's. If you are unaware of how please watch the following video to learn how to be more in touch with I don't know, we can talk about it via pictures.
Welcome to I don't know, we can talk about it intermission point for www.pictures.com. Welcome to Pictures, where expression, the choice to express in the public sphere, is to bear in the wild your choice responsibilities, where beyond anyone and anywhere else, you will encounter yourself. Aside from Pictures, music, books I've read, publications, merchandise, and of course the About page, the forum of Pictures works in tandem with I don't know, we can talk about it. So I encourage you to stay up to date via the YouTube channel, the podcast, or use the forums to be an active participant in future discussions or other discussions. I hope we can continue to grow together. Onward and Upward. Kevin Dufresne.
Welcome back to I don't know, we can talk about it, where we discuss myriads of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. We're going to jump right into our origami segment. As you can see, from a rectangle paper, all we have to do is take the short edge and fold the short edge to the long edge. This way we have a nice bend, and we're going to just take this flap at the end and fold it up, because now we have our rectangular piece, which we will rip off to make a square. After, we can open up our sheet and we can begin this process of folding from edge to edge. Today we're going to make an origami heart. As you see, the first edge is done, and we're going to go from that first edge to edge to the second edge to edge. And here we go. The second is done as well. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're just going to fold the sheets down. And we're going to fold our sheet inward. So we take this portion and corner and we just fold it down. And then we'll do the same for the bottom portion. We're just going to fold it down. And as you can see, right now we have a nice X part. And we'll do the same on the other side. You can see we already have this first fold, but to make sure that we get the back fold as well, we'll just do it again. And I'm going to fold this bottom part inward. All right. Next, you'll see that we have this wonderful fold. What we're going to do now is we're going to bring ourselves in to our water bomb folds. So how we do that is we just kind of tuck this in. And if you don't remember what the water bomb fold is, it's like a triangle. So we're going to really focus in here. Bring it in together. But look at this. See here? We have this fold here. And we'll do the same for the other side again. Just gonna, so you can see we fold it in here. We're gonna fold it in. One part we actually have to do is fold it in half to meet in the middle. So when we turn this paper over from our inside folds from corner to corner, we'll just fold the paper in. Okay. we'll fold it in, it'll help us make more sense of our water bombs. Because if you do a full water bomb, it'll take up the whole side, and you'll be wondering, how am I going to get the rest of this even? At least that's how I'm coming to answer now. So, fold it in half, then we'll make our water bomb just a little bit, a smaller water bomb. At least, so I think. What I'm going to do now is refer very quickly to the origami instructions to ensure that I have this completely accurate. Because what I have right now is a water bomb completely together. And I want to make sure that we have the full spectrum of our origami heart in progress to ensure it will be solid. So I'll be right back. Welcome back. So you know, everything is correct. The origami form needs to come to be somewhat like this water bomb. Well, 2 water bombs in 1. Now what we do is we open up the water bomb. If you already follow the initial folds, you don't even have to open it up unless you close it. So what we're looking at here, again, just to show, from our initial folds here, see our initial folds, we're just gonna take this, we'll just, like an accordion, bring it down. And then if it comes down like this, you open it to the side that has multiple flaps. Now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna fold in each flap. So we have each corner here, just gonna fold it in. We're just gonna make some little diamonds from these little flaps. And again, the water bomb form is actually just the triangle form. If you're not aware, it's just a triangle form that has that nice flap, and it's a bit more 3D, more close to a flat prism. So when we come here, we'll just fold in our flaps here, you see? So coming from this, as some might know it as the water bomb position, we'll take this, just fold it up. See, we're just taking it up. Fold up that triangle's corner. Then we're going to open it, and press it down. Pretty much that. Open this part here, and we're just gonna press it down. This opening portion, you're just gonna open the flaps we just folded, right? Open them. Inside, you'll see some splitting between the paper. Try to bring it right down the middle. See? So like, if you get real close here, I'm gonna have it there. I opened it, and then I'm just flattening it. And again, I'm just opening it. I can use a finger if I like. See? If I put my finger there, it makes it open up a little bit more. See? And then I just flatten it. All right. The next portion is to fold in these again. So after you get your flat portion, you're going to literally just fold in and make the flaps again. They're kind of new flaps, like isosceles triangle flaps. Some might look a little bit like scaling triangles. Still, you're breaking this in to make the more intricate fold happen. So again, from this big diamond we've made 4 smaller diamonds, now we're going to make another fold here. If you can see it, let's take this fold in here and just fold it in light. And I'll bring it in so you can see it again. And then you'll have these folds. So you can see the stark difference between these folds. What will be of the diamonds into the triangles. And again, I'll just show you again, here again, and there's that fold. So you see how the folding is happening, and so then I'll fold it again. Again, these instructions are available in a link of the description of the video via YouTube. The next step is to take each one and just open it. Open it just like we did before and flatten it. So here's the other trick. This is when you can get a little more customizable with how you want this to be. And I'll show you with two examples here. First, I can just reopen the flap if I like. And then, so I reopen this flap here. And then what I can do is just bring that triangle in. Bring this triangle in. So I reopen the flap, and I'll show you. And you can see it again. You just open the flap, reopen the flap here. Show you how different you can make this look. Okay. And when you have this flap reopened, you can get a lot of variance in how you design it. If I open it a little bit, I'm going to leave that one so we can see more of a selection here. Then another one here, if I open this flap here, okay, this flap here, then I'll leave it here. That's the second one. So then I'm going to have the next one. I'll open it up. And this is the next one. I'll fold it down just like the other one. So I'm going to show you two of them. They'll be in a circle, two will be next to each other. So you can see it. One's open, one's closed. And the variances are a bit customizable here. So you can open it. You can have somewhat of a 3D flower if you like, or you can have somewhat of a flattening flower. I'm actually going to go with a 3D flower look here. I like how it pops out. Keep it a little bit popping out. Perfect. All right, so you'll see you're able to make variations. Now what we want to do next though, of course, is we're going to just continue on. We'll just bring the flap, this back part here, we'll just bring it back down. So now you'll actually see the heart come into shape. And of course, to finalize this heart, just flip the corner edges, the left and right corner edges, just flip them in, and voila! Ta-da! You have a wonderful heart here. It's fancy. You can put something inside of it, a little note if you like. It's like a little pocket heart envelope. And of course, you can design it. You can use different resources to decorate it. This is graphing paper. So you can get as creative as you like and share a heart with someone. Or make a heart for yourself. Also, if you want to stand it up so it stands by itself, you can literally just pull this portion in the back, and just leave it like that. And just make sure that they're even, the sides are even. If it's not even on the sides, then it'll like lean a little bit. So you can see mine is a little bit to the left, has a little bit of a lean. Has a little bit of character, this one. Our next topic is about reading. Reading physical books has long-term benefits, especially in connection with spatial development. So I always encourage individuals to read physical books, though, of course, I appreciate individuals reading, experiencing stories in myriads of ways, especially as the ways presently are, one may have time to appreciate a story in a particular way. Though, of course, I'm always going to advocate for reading a physical book. The text we're going to discuss today is the personal MBA. I really appreciate the text. The author addresses how, after reading so many books on finances and success, respectfully, not necessarily engaging in particulars of a work environment like management, for example, one may find so much value in reading books, or may find in a library, one may find so many benefits to understanding these concepts, which the author receives from doing a lot of research from other individuals that have come to write these principles and to address particular laws in relation to finance, to business. I find the text offers so much for one to refer to that having the book around and using the book referentially is sound, especially with any business prospects one may have, with any ideas one may be thinking about in relation to business. I find the text is great to have as a referential source for one looking to navigate how to be successful business-wise. With that, I don't advise anyone drop out of school, though I do advise one to assess one's life in connection with what one wants to do long term, especially if in connection with a business or business prospects. Because the more resources one has, the more beneficial one may be to oneself. The text advocates for self-learning. The text advocates for being practical with the relevant knowledge, the necessary knowledge. And I think the text offers so much value due to covering vast amounts of information beneficial to one's success in business. Though, in connection with what the text does talk about in relation to business school, I do feel as though one may greatly benefit from assessing what type of school one wants to go to, what type of programs a school has for one's interest, broadly, globally, so one may be able to make sound decisions with how one will progress beyond or even within a particular atmosphere, within a particular educational environment. Because one may be successful from a low-cost situation, whereas one may be dealing with different challenges in a high-cost situation. And in the end, how one chooses from wherever one is likely going to affect the individual long term. So I feel as though being attentive to one's present circumstances in connection with one's long-term circumstances, the possibilities in relation to whatever entity one wants to align with for whatever reason, It makes sense. When a decision or decisions of the sort make sense, then I feel as though one's life may be more sensible long term. The personal MBA is really advocating for one to be a self-learner, to be proactive mindfully, using the best available resources respectfully, so one may succeed. In business, yes, though of course one must acknowledge one's life and how all that works together with what one wants, with what one needs. Thank you for joining. I don't know. We can talk about it. Onward and Upward. Kevin Dufresne.